I think we should start. So it's great to be here. I think it's last winner for 2020. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Varun Patel and I am the CEO of Spokes Digital. Spokes Digital is the leading provider of digital marketing services to cannabis and hemp CBD industry. And we are focused in the industry since almost 4 years. Today we are presenting webinar the digital marketing trends in 2021 for cannabis, hemp, and CBD industry. So basically, we'll talk about uh, our experiences working with different clients and what we see as a trend for 2021 in SEM, SEO, and programmatic ads and social ads. It will be presented by myself and Lauren LaPlante. Lauren is the Chief Growth Officer of our company. So this is going to be our last webinar of 2020, and we will come up with uh, possibly with the new topics in 2021. So we would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions during this presentation, please type them into the question box in your Zoom panel, and we can bring them up during the presentation. And we will also have time, I think, towards the end of the webinar for the questions and answers. So without further ado, we'll start with the presentation. So Lauren, it's over to you now.
Thank you, Varun. I'm going to share your screen.
Yes.
Thank you. So I just want to thank everybody for taking some time today to spend with us. I know your time is valuable. We started this series right around this when the pandemic happened, this webinar series. So this is kind of a good way to wrap up the last of this year, but we'll continue into next year, as Varun mentioned. Okay, so we always start off with a quote. And this is from John Chambers, who's the executive chairman of Cisco Systems. At least 40% of all businesses will die in the next 10 years if they don't figure out how to change their entire company to accommodate new technologies. And everyone on this call is aware of this, right? But hearing it in a statement like this is quite dramatic. So we all know that new technologies are constantly coming into the market, and we want to take advantage of them when it makes sense for us. So I think technologies are just going to continue to accelerate as time goes on. So it's very important to stay current and stay afloat. Now we'll go into the digital marketing trends that we saw in 2020 during the pandemic. So this information is from Google, and it shows the year-over-year increases of social media, the use of social media, right? And this is no surprise to anybody on this webinar, but kind of seeing the numbers there is, again, quite dramatic. So on Facebook, the messenger calls increased by 50%. Just pulling out a couple of examples here. The Instagram, the users are increase of 23% just in the first quarter, an 85% increase on video entertainment. So, there's the numbers, and we've all experienced it ourselves. Next slide, Bruce. Okay, so now getting right into, we all experience this, but kind of stating the reality and stating the obvious, there's power in that. So what happened when the pandemic first started? We didn't know how serious it was. We didn't really know how to react. How could we go outside or be with other people? So initially, we all kind of panicked and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to stay home." So in-person store visits, took a nosedive, at least in the beginning. So, brick and mortar businesses needed to figure out, how are we going to handle this? How are we going to get ourselves seen by the customers who need us? So they really had to, and we had some customers who, came to us and were brick and mortar and they panicked, how are we going to get online? So we helped them to do that. Next slide. Okay. So here's some solutions that we saw ourselves and we help clients with. So the first one is, like I mentioned, creating an e-commerce store. So putting yourself online, and hopefully you had some online presence before the pandemic, but certainly some folks didn't. So that was a panic. Secondly, you can set up your Google My Business profile. Of course, work on optimizing that as you get interaction from consumers. The third solution is social media, right? Get more involved in social media, be more frequent with your posts, and also get on more channels, right? There's many more channels now of social media, and we'll talk about that. And then the fourth solution is really a different way of promoting your business online, but really targeting with the pay-per-click and the paid media and programmatic ads. So those are very targeted to specific consumers who have high intention to buy. Next slide. Here's another trend that we saw, and this was very much in the beginning of the pandemic, where people were searching on terms that we never saw them search on before. So there's two examples here, the CBD sanitizer and the CBD hand sanitizer. So Varun's pointing out there that you see that uptick in those search terms right at the time of the start of the lockdown, right? March, the 3rd and 4th weeks of March. So people really, you can see the panic, right? In that spike of search for CBD hand sanitizer. Next slide, Varun. Okay, so here, one of the solutions, what we found that we had to do is really be more focused and more diligent about monitoring the search queries. So you'll see in this example on the right, this is a screenshot of one of our clients' Google Analytics. So looking at the terms that were searched in the category of whether it be the product brand exact match or broad match, and then looking at the interactions. So you can see that the interactions, the clicks for antibacterial hand soap are the highest on this list. And it goes right on down to, for example, hemp hand sanitizer. So this shows you the different types of search terms. And also, again, the fact that we really found that we needed to even more deliberately monitor the search terms to really learn the behavior of the consumers. And then negative keywords. Negative keywords are really important because they allow you to better target your ideal customers. So if you're not familiar with it, a negative keyword is something that is not going to work for your target customer. So in tagging a keyword as negative, that allows you to better target who's going to be a high quality customer who has high intention to buy, and you're going to not spend ad money on the negative keywords. Next slide. Okay, so this solution is about device bid adjustment. And again, this is another way to really hone in on the customer, the high intention customer. So what Varun's pointing out there is looking at, you know, we notice that there's a lot of interaction on the mobile phones, right? There's a lot of buying going on, but also we see that there's a lot more people, since they're staying home, they are on desktop. So the point here is that you really need to know who your customer is and what is their intention to buy. So for example, you see that 25% on the right there means that you want to put, it's like an adder, it's an intent, you not just, it's an added incentive, or putting more emphasis on those keywords when they come from a mobile phone device. Or you can put a negative on those too as well. Okay, next solution is about smart bidding. So smart bidding is a service from Google where they manage the bids on your keywords automatically. So they have the intelligence to understand who is a serious buyer, a serious consumer with high intent, and they will monitor the ad spend automatically for you. Next slide. Okay. Here's the third trend. So looking at, and I mentioned before that, it's because more people are online and we're really depending more on digital marketing, there's so many more channels, and you want to kind of have an ecosystem of channels by which to target your customers. Okay? Of course, Google is the most ubiquitous, but you should have other channels as well to complement reaching your customers, not just Google. So here we have examples of the Bing ads, and then the programmatic ads with Traffic Junkie, for example. Next slide, Brett. Okay. And a solution for this, as an example, is in PPC advertising in the pay-per-click. So you do want to start with the Google search, but also supplement that with Microsoft ads, or supplement the Google search with display ads, and even some social media. So you'll see examples here where we have ads on Facebook, as well as the Google search ad here in the upper right. And then on the bottom, here's a Bing ad example. So these would all be complementary and trying to hit your audience in different ways, through different channels. Okay, another solution is the Google search partners. So it's actually a network of websites that partner with Google that can capture your audience. So an example of this is YouTube, right? So you're advertising in Google, for example, and then YouTube will pick that up. Next slide. Okay, another solution for that ecosystem of ways to get to your clients is remarketing. So remarketing is basically identifying consumers who have come to your website, and they may or may not have made a purchase, but they left a cookie behind, right? They left their IP address, and Google captures that. So then we can return to those users through remarketing of display ads. And here's some examples of display ads that we've done for clients. Next slide. Now we're going to talk about kind of the lessons learned from 2020. So here again, kind of stating the obvious, but it's really powerful to see the numbers here. So more people are staying at home and needing entertainment or wanting entertainment. So they're watching stream services are up 57%. The social media, messenger services. I mean, people are really craving connecting with others, even though they can't be in their presence. So, I mean, you can just look through all of these examples. And like I say, we've all lived it. So one thing that we did notice in 2020 is that people are depending more on your brands for during this period. They're becoming more reliant, I'll say, and I would say in a good way. So they're looking for support around COVID-19, right? So the earlier example of people looking for CBD hand sanitizer. They're looking for eco-friendliness, of course, getting the value for their dollar. People are not having as much money to spend now for the most part. Some people are out of work. And supporting social causes is actually another big one too that I've noticed. People are really wanting to help out during this time. Next slide, Bruin. Okay, and Facebook. What we've been seeing is, no doubt Facebook is here to stay, and it's a mainstay. But we've seen kind of the demographic shifting, and I'm sure that's no surprise to anybody on this call, but it's Facebook is definitely more skewed towards the older generation of users, and the younger generation is going more for the Instagram and the Snapchat and the TikTok. Next slide, please. And here it is, right? So the younger generation likes the Instagram and the TikTok more. 61, as Varun's pointing out here, 61% of Instagram users are 18 to 24. And I think what's going on here is that these other channels like Instagram are and TikTok are much more interactive, and they portray a feeling. They actually communicate a feeling better than Facebook does. Next slide. So chat box for customer service. And this is something that I think consumers are really coming to expect. It's, if you don't have a chat box or some electronic customer service platform, you're missing out, right? Because consumers want to interact and they want to get their questions answered in a timely manner. Next slide, Ron. So another trend that we're seeing is video is no longer an option. It is essential, right? So people are consuming more audio and video than the actual reading of the content. So again, my point before, I'll say it again here with the video, think of it as like a third dimension, right? Because the written word is two-dimensional, but a video is three, maybe even four-dimension, because it communicates emotion, and people remember more of how you made them feel than anything else. So if you can make someone feel good or have confidence that your product is going to make them feel better, they're going to remember that. Next slide, Ruth. Okay. And email is getting more personalized. So really knowing who your consumer is, what they are looking for and really target the message in the email. Because email is still the one of the highest conversion of any of the channels. Next slide. Okay. So here's a newer channel, I'll say, the messaging apps, where they're direct marketing with, for example, a text. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting some of these as well, where you'll search on something online, and then just a time later you'll get a text message from that particular search that you were doing. So this is just another way of reaching out to consumers, just kind of get them at all angles, right? Next slide. Okay, content and context. Context is really about focus. What are you focusing on? So this ad, it's on this slide, is a company that specializes in sexual wellness with their CBD products. So it's very focused market. So it's really important to have, the image is important. And it also, an image, speaks 1,000 words, as they say, but you also don't have to mention CBD in an image. You can show someone, experiencing pleasure in an image. So that's important. The other thing that I want to say here is that, content, the written content is still important. I mean, you have to get the right words to capture the interest of your audience and the consumer who's going to buy. Next slide. Okay, so wrapping up 2020, and this is from the SEO perspective. So we had, starting up in the upper right here, we had coronavirus coming along, right? And everyone panicked. We didn't know what this was. We didn't know how harmful it was going to be at all. And then moving over to the left here, where you have this witch in the corner, basically that what she's depicting is the emotion that the coronavirus and the pandemic really, if you recall, and I'm sure you had your own experience with this, your emotions got heightened, right? If you were upset about something, you got even more upset about it. And then we had, some social upsets here, right, with right after the coronavirus came, then you had some social upset. You had, riots. You had, the activists coming out. So that was really, emotion, not only, what's happening in the societal climate, but it was also accelerated or exaggerated by the coronavirus. And then you had the lockdown. And so that's, again, we have no idea how long this is going to be. So you panic, you get depressed, you get sad. But and this is, the cartoon here is from an SEO perspective. What digital marketers are really worried about in this whole year is that December core update that Google's coming out with. So Varun, I think I'll hand it over to you if you want to say more about this cartoon, and then.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. So, as you rightly said, like this picture depicts kind of emotions, but when we look at as a marketer, I think most horrible situation for us would be to face the summer core update than facing any of the situations above. So if you remember, like the latest December core update has already impacted the visibility index for many of the websites, including Amazon. So its visibility index dropped by 54%. and Pinterest lost its visibility index by 40%. A lot of websites, including TripAdvisor, Booking.com, CNN.com, and New York Times, they all lost the visibility because of the Google Core update. So this core update is more about like how Google wants you to appear in terms of uh, user expectations. So what is most important for user is something important for Google, and that's what they are looking for all the businesses to have. So Google is becoming very strict with all of these parameters, especially with the in 2021. I think it will be interesting to see that uh, how can we talk about how can we handle our web businesses and e-commerce sites better on the SEO algorithms that will be launched by Google, and we can talk more in the next slides. So, so Lauren talked mostly about the, I think, trends and learnings from 2020 that we have seen, and we'll talk about more about like trends that can be watched in 2021 and our recommendations, so that we can probably face those trends and maybe can grow our businesses while those changes occur. So here's a very simple picture about seeing that what proportion of the campaign management was being handled by AI or machine learning earlier in 2018, and now how it is happening in 2020, and we can estimate that to increase in 2021. So like all these pay-per-click campaigns that you see that you run on platforms like Google, Bing, maybe Facebook, another platform. So a lot of intervention is going towards AI and machine learning. So 18 was like 46% uh, I will say rules were written by AI, and now in 2020, like 66% rules are overruled by AI. So I think AI is going to take over the manual efforts that will put on the PPC campaign. So I think we need to be aware about those rules and learnings and how to use those maybe triggers from on the channels you are working in, like Google, and maybe setting up your campaigns using those features so that you can get the maximum out of your maybe campaigns budget in terms of maybe ROAS. So that's for PPC, and next is for the SEO. So SEO is, as I was talking about in the last slide, that 2021 is going to be a very vital in terms of SEO. So Google is going to focus more on like I will say core web vitals. So when you talk about web vitals, there are some kind of parameters, for example, loading and interactivity, and I would say visual stability. So these are three core web vitals that are there. And then we also have some web vitals that may not be as core, but they are very important for Google to consider you for the ranking. It's like mobile friendliness, safe browsing, the HTTPS, no intrusive interstitials. So all these things maybe I will say correlate with the UI and UX of your website. So user experience is going to be the top most priority for Google to rank the websites on the top 10. And I think they will look into this on a very strict manner. So if we have to be on the top of Google searches, we need to maintain our websites and we need to be on top of all those core web vitals that we are seeing over here. So maybe I think as we are here in 2020, we can take some time out of that, maybe talk to your maybe web developers and fix those websites so that you don't have any issues on the core web vitals. And better you are here, I think more you will rank on the SEO in 2021. Next is the local. So I think we need to make sure that local is at the heart of our digital marketing strategy in that way, because especially for big and mortar businesses, because local allows people to quickly and easily find information about the businesses, and they probably can either travel to your location, or maybe they can directly call you, or maybe they can also go to the website to make a purchase. So local has to be optimized in a much better way, and there are a lot of ways you can actually optimize local, where you can not only put your products in the maybe Google My Business, but you can also create a store where in the within GMB you can put the keywords, you can put the products, you can put the reviews. There's a lot of stuff you can do. I think that should be done, keeping in mind that SEO. Next is the Google Eat principle. So I think we have talked about it in the last webinars, and for some of you who are not here, maybe we can again talk about it. So Eat is a very important methodology by Google from the content perspective. So whatever content is being written either on the blog sections or on the product sections or on the homepage sections has to maybe qualify the expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness index of the Google. So this is something like, so for example, if you are in a CBD kind of a business, and if you're writing a blog on CBD cream for pain and how CBD can be used to maybe help you soothe on pain, it has to come uh, from kind of an expert that is talking about that kind of maybe a subject, and somebody has to be authority on that space, and it has to be like trustworthy as well. So if you are doing something like that, always maybe keep in mind that how can you maybe make it more maybe trustworthy and authoritative in a way so that Google can rank that article when somebody is searching for the searches like CBD pain cream or CBD cream for pain kind of keywords. Voice search, so voice search is also very big, and I think it is going to be like even bigger in 2022. So I think most of us have experienced this in the lockdown in situations where whatever we had to order, we probably will go to the Google, and maybe our Siri will just maybe put a long tail kind of a keyword like, okay, which is the nearest dispensary to buy maybe hemp or maybe vape or maybe buy a cannabis, and then probably Google puts some kind of results together and maybe shows you, or maybe you can also hear on the voice that says, okay, here is the best store nearby, here's the name, and maybe they can talk about the descriptions. So where are they coming from? They all come from the Google search, and I think if you optimize your Google search and maybe properly update the keywords and tags, you can also rank on the voice searches. So voice search is a different kind of a technique where you need to include the long tail keywords on your web pages. Probably it can be done by including FAQ pages on each product pages, or you can also have a separate FAQ page on the website that includes like all the possible FAQs and includes the long tail keyword searches that can be asked by your prospective customers. So that probably can help you to rank on the voice searches. And if some of you who want to know more, there is a whole webinar that we have done. There's a presentation also that is there on the website. On the mobile friendliness, I think that is the most priority, because I think everybody must have seen on their Google Analytics that more than 60-70% of the traffic comes from mobile, and we need to be I think on top of that, like we have to have a mobile first design, and that has to be the priority. And so Google will look into this from the UX perspective that we talked earlier, in order to rank you on that. Feature snippets. So feature snippets is I think very common term, but I think this is going to be even bigger in 2021, because for example, look at this example here, how to use a heat protectant on hair. So when somebody searches for it, you can see that this is the result that comes, and there's a big kind of text and image and all this titles over here that you can see. So even though if you're not ranking on the first page on a certain keyword, but it is possible that you may show up on the feature snippets, because feature snippets are totally dependent on how relevant your content is if the user is searching on long tail keywords. So I think you need to probably make a research, what are the long tail keyword searches in terms of like question based keyword searches, and imbibe those on the key, maybe the content that you have on a website, and probably publish that so that when you are somebody is searching, you can be published on the feature snippets. It's a kind of a you can it's a good real estate to occupy in the Google. Like it's 25% of the whole page that you can occupy if you are ranking on the feature snippets. Predictive searches. So this is again is something that very important to look at. For example, when you search in the Google, when you type a kind of keyword, for example, CBD cream, then you would see that there are possibly 5 to 6 such queries that come in like maybe in the bottom. You will see like CBD cream for pain, CBD cream for the maybe anxiety. You will see a lot of maybe possible searches that you can choose from it. So this is like Google will pick up based on your behavior and what you have searched and what you already have visited, like possibly on the last visit on the on the internet. So it picks everything up. It learns about your behavior, it learns about the user's behaviors. So you need to probably see all the possible searches that can be done by a user, and then create the content accordingly, so that Google can also show you on the searches that our users are doing on the on in the internet for the most accurate content that they're looking for. Image optimization is going to be very big because maybe Google is going to be like very big on this because they want much visual appeal for users, because they feel that users can understand a product much better if there's a much higher visual image appeal to that. So and I think that Google can't read images in that way, but still maybe it is good for customers who can just maybe look at the products and make a purchase decision on that. So optimizing images, having big images, and maybe that are self-explanatory is very important to have on the websites. So these are like semantically related keywords. So these are like, you can see here like some examples. For example, if you have theme, so if you are a cannabis business or CBD business or dispensary business or hemp business or some kind of so you can write the theme and then you find out the keywords around that. So this is like all semantic and LSI, they're called as the LSI keywords. So you find those keywords that have good searches around that. And once you do the analysis, maybe it's like you can do this exercise using pen and paper. So write down the keywords, then write down the keywords that are semantically related, and then see the search volume for it, and then maybe see the difficulty score. And the keywords that have good search volume, for example, for cannabis business, cannabis tincture can be a good keyword because has a very good search volume of 5500, but a very low difficulty score. So it is very easy to rank on this. So personally, you need to find out those maybe we I will say easy wins, using a low hanging fruit, and then probably maybe make the whole strategy is like a phase one, phase two, and phase three, where phase one is about low difficulty and high search volume, and phase two would be medium difficulty and good search volume, and third phase would be possibly like higher difficulty and high search volume. So this is a kind of a strategy that everyone has to find out when analyzing any query for the business, and how can you rank on that in a systematic manner for maybe in 3 months of time. Including video is also very big. So as Lauren was talking about in the learnings from 2020, it was important in 2020, it is going to be much important for users in terms of SEO in 2021 as well, because Google is going to look into your overall UI and UX from the user's perspective. So much better is to have there are a lot of blogs nowadays, like video blogs and all that stuff that you can put. You can also put product demos in terms of videos. You can put out of recommendations and reviews in terms of your videos. So I think creating more video content would help you not only to rank, but also it would create a lot of uh, I would say trustworthiness of the content in terms of EAT methodology of the Google SEO. This is again diversification that talks about mostly about, I would say, is like how can you diversify more, like it's like more like about having an omni-channel approach. So omni-channel approach is like where you have like for example you are targeting not only the Google search but also maybe OTT devices. You are targeting the local ads via Waze ads, like dispense, like for example Waze ads are good for the dispensary in terms of local ads, where if you are passing by a dispensary, it will ad will pop up and will probably tell you that you are around this dispensary that you're passing by, and if you can make a purchase to it. So I think diversification is very important for all the businesses in 2021, and maybe that is going to be big in terms of getting improving the overall performance. this is again a good thing to do. Like I don't know if how many of you are using the AdMob is a mobile ad network for the Google. And I think if you look at that, I think it has much more features on its modern analytics and reporting features that can be used. So if we are going to do this more, because mobile is going to be the primary device for everybody in terms of especially for the Android users. So if you can target users via smart segmentations in AdMob, it's going to be big for 2021. Then programmatic ad is also very big if you look at that, because for cannabis and CBD hemp businesses, sometimes there are a lot of difficulties in getting your ads approved on Google, Bing, Facebook, or any kind of a platform that is mainstream. So there are other maybe I would say ad networks that are not that are very focused on, maybe I would say cannabis businesses, or maybe that are having a network of websites that allow you to do the ads on those websites. And you can write cannabis, you can write CBD, you can write whatever you want to write, and we can also use images, the kind of images that you have, that possibly you can't do on the Google. So programmatic ad networks have come up for cannabis and CBD businesses, and we are working with a lot of businesses in that way. And I think that is a good way to advertise as well. So exploring that channel is very important. So so this is an example for the video and connected TV advertising for dispensaries. So maybe CTV can allow you to do the ads in that. So creating a video, maybe advertising on the CTV and all these OTT devices. That is something that can be done by programmatic ads. So programmatic ads allow you not only to do the ads on web, but they can also do web, mobile, connected TV, OTT devices, and you can do like SMS and messaging, email. So this is like overall kind of omni-channel approach where you are allowed to advertise the full length definition of the product that is having cannabis or having images that you want to do. So we have so many partnerships around these kind of networks, so that they're helping our clients to generate more business. So along with the Google search and all the Facebook and Bing ads that we are doing. Similarly, the native ads. So cannabis producers and processors, I think for them it's very important to advertise on the native ads. A lot of native ads network are there who can allow you to do the ads on those websites where you can display. Some example over here is like using Outbrain. So Outbrain is one of the network that does the native ads. So you can use Outbrain to do the native ads, and you know also use the Taboola for doing this content marketing ads. So a lot of tools can be used in that way, and and marketing can be done uh, on the website that allow you to advertise your mainstream products. Here are the recommendations for 2021. Should we jump on some questions, Lauren? Do you think?
Yeah, I think we can. Let me guide you through that. So there's a couple of questions in the chat. So Brandon asks, the TikTok and Instagram frown on cannabis brands.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok doesn't really even allow them. How do you effectively use those platforms as a cannabis brand?
Oh yeah. So I think TikTok is actually I would say we have tried TikTok for one of the cannabis brand and they allowed us. So I think if you have a right messaging and maybe and right kind of strategy for TikTok, it will I think possibly allow your ads. For Instagram, of course, they won't allow you. Instagram is very strict on cannabis and CBD, using cannabis and CBD on the ads. So, but there are ways to do the ads on Instagram that we have done for our clients using Facebook as a channel, and Facebook allows us to, if your ads are approved on the Facebook, there's an option to run the same ad on Instagram, and there's some kind of guidelines, maybe running ads on Instagram, on Facebook as well. So like not using any CBD word, not using any cannabis word, using images that are experience images that can show the
Mm.
same sort of feeling, and then also you can go live on these channels.
So here's another question. I know you touched on this, but let's focus on Louis has a question. Where do you see AI in the future of traditional digital marketing across all channels?
So I think AI would be, so for example, if I look at AI, so everybody has Google Analytics installed on the website. And I think that's the first thing that everyone does when they launch any business on online. So when you go to Google Analytics, you would see lot of features on the left hand side where it says, for example, maybe acquisition, behavior. I will talk about conversions, e-commerce, and they also have like beta versions where they show you advanced, I would say, analytics settings. So when you look at that, possibly you can try going on the behavior, and if you want to see like how many users who have come to the website via organic channels from Google, who are the new users and new visitors who possibly haven't used a coupon code, and they possibly have come to the website and they have made a purchase, or possibly they dropped from the checkout process. So Google will possibly show you that this data, and possibly if you want to retarget those users, so you can create the list of those users, and then possibly you can retarget them via messaging, that possibly you came to the website, did not use any coupon, maybe you dropped from the checkout, possibly come back to website, this is the coupon, and maybe you can maybe retarget that user. So AI is helping you in terms of getting that deep learning, first of all about your customers, and then possibly retargeting those customers via the promotions that you can do. So it is like for all the channels. So when somebody comes to a website via any source, including Facebook, Google, or email, uh, maybe analytics knows that like which is the user coming from which source across the web, and then when do retargeting via for those users, they can be retargeted across the web. So this is working like AI is like learning about the behavior of users, like who they are coming from, where, what are their preferences, what are their search behavior, and maybe what kind of ads can be shown to them. So all these things can be only done via AI technologies, and 2021 is going to be big about using that intelligence provided by these tools.
Great, thank you. So Paul asks, thoughts on restrictions for ingestible CBD product advertising on Google Ads, PPC, any workarounds or changes coming?
So I think ingestibles are strictly no-no by Google to run ads, uh, and having CBD ingestibles is like probably you won't go live. But I think there are some workarounds where uh, we have been very successful in doing the ads for the clients, and we are still working with so many clients. So what we do basically is like possibly we don't use CBD on the ads, or maybe we don't use CBD on any of the landing pages that we use, and possibly when we make our campaigns live, we get approved on that basis because we're not using any kind of term on that ad or landing page. And when we go live, possibly I know when somebody clicks on the ads and come to the landing page and then goes to the website, probably they learn about us. So there are ways to advertise. For example, you can also do like misspelling searches on the Google ads, where possibly Google won't maybe piece of your ads if you're doing misspellings on the uh, keyword searches. So some of the tricks are there. There are more that we can discuss. So if you want to discuss more, possibly you can email us and we can have a call schedule and we can talk more about that.
Mm,
uh, that
yeah. So we have two more questions here, Varun, and this one is kind of a continuation of what you just answered. So, what is the legality of paid ads for CBD products for social media, Google, Bing, website affiliates? And a continuation here, I've heard that topical ads are fine, but ingestibles are not. Is that the same for all outlets?
So I would say like CBD is strictly no to advertise on any other platform. So there are some I would say like maybe exceptions. For example, if you are a hemp-based product and if you're advertising hemp on Google Ads, Google will allow you for that, and even Facebook may allow you for using hemp, but Twitter won't allow you to use any of the thing like hemp or CBD or anything you use. And similarly, if you are a dispensary business, Google will allow you to run ads on dispensary, but if you are writing marijuana dispensary, then it won't allow you to do that. So similarly for Facebook, similarly for the Twitter and the Instagram, also in that way. So these are the restrictions that they have. So if in case there are a lot of workarounds, as I was talking about, like workarounds around like CBDs. There are workarounds for cannabis. There are workarounds for dispensary businesses, and for all the channels that we're working with, like Google, Bing, Facebook, Instagram. So there are a lot of hacks that we have learned in this. I think it will take a lot of time if we talk about each channel, what is allowed, what is not allowed. So I think if we can maybe keep a separate call for that, and maybe we can discuss it. We would be very happy to help you uh, to learn more about that.
Okay, one more question here around how do you do keywords research for voice search and how to optimize content for it?
So I think, as I say, like voice search optimization is basically a long tail search query. So it's like it will be what is the best CBD cream for anxiety. So when you put that long tail search term, it may not have the very high search volume of 5,000 or 10,000, but it's a long tail search query that is based on the question. Like somebody's asking a question, because most of our searches are based on the questions. So and when somebody asks this question, there should be exact answer for the question. And what Google does, it goes back does to the Google and maybe sees that who are the websites who have the answer for these questions. And even though if they are not ranking on the first 10 maybe spots of the Google, they will put that maybe content together and show it to the user that okay, here is the result. So what you need to do is possibly so if you are a CBD business, possibly make a whole as a user, think as a user that what can a user think, and then maybe write down those long tail search queries. And then there are a lot of tools in the website. We can use the SEM Rush and see that around that search query, how many search queries are there who have some search volume, and then make a list of their search close search queries, and then create FAQs around that. And if your some of the FAQs are relevant with some of the product, for example, if you have a CBD pain cream in your store, create a FAQ page on the CBD pain cream page, and then put all the questions related to CBD pain cream that answer the question that what is the best CBD cream for anxiety. Maybe you can answer the question there, and and possibly Google will show that content to the users, and by that way if they click on it they will also come to your website to see the product. So this can be done as a beginning. If you want more information, we can talk more maybe on a separate call to guide you further on this.
Okay, yeah, let's continue. We just have 5 minutes left.
Okay, so I think this is like we have last three slides. So our main research study in 2021 would be to leverage first party data, that is, as Lawrence said, like using cookies, emails, and using the uh, data that comes to your website, user behavior data, maybe all this intelligence, and enabling the fluidity. And so it's like fluidity means is like how you can do the omni-channel targeting setup of that, and then all these channels who can optimize itself, like for example Google, Bing, Yahoo, or Facebook. So like create those kind of campaigns, maybe all 360 degree campaigns, and then think omni-channel with your tactics, like not using only one kind of platform like Google or Bing or Facebook. It's like having maybe a OTT, having mobile, having Google, having retargeting ads, having content ads, native ads, having programmatic ads, all as a whole part of a strategy is going to be very important. And you can think like what is important for you, and it can be done on a phase-wise basis. So here is a much detail. For example, if you have first-party data, so this is like can be done. Maybe create a CRM list where you create the email list, create a lookalike audience. Uh, so like create cookie conversion API, real time kind of pools. So this is an example like creating the audiences, create audiences. This is an example on Facebook. How can it be done? It can also be done using the Google Analytics. It can also be done using Google Ads. So you can create those lists, as I was talking about, I think in the previous slide, where you can create a list of users who are like new users who came via Google Organic, who did not use a coupon code. So create those kind of targeted lists, and maybe use that to drive a competitive advantage and do the marketing. Second is like creating dynamic capabilities is very important in terms of, for example, you can see here like placement optimization. So this is like deep dive into your campaigns, creating dynamic ads where you have placements, like we have very targeted placements optimization. We have campaign budget optimization is like having a dynamic, smart budgeting optimize, like writing some kind of a queries, writing some kind of I would say rules around it. So using AI more and more for the campaigns where you don't have to put the manual efforts, that is something going to be very, very kind of important, and that will create the fluidity around your ads. And dynamic ads is like dynamic product ads, where Google knows that who was looking for what, and like whom to show which kind of product and ad, and creating, for example, one example would be, for example, somebody is searching for CBD cream, and then you are doing an ad, and then keyword insertion ad is called as, it's a dynamic product ad where your keyword would be inserted on product ads. So doing those ads is very important. Set up a catalog, build audience, and create and deliver ads for the listings or for the kind of products that for the audience listings. So there are a lot of ways that have come around it, and utilizing that is very important. And some omnichannel tactics. So you can see here, this like, so it's basically for brick and mortar retailers who are going more e-commerce programs. So like people who have visited the website, or maybe people who have a specific interest on the offers and coupons. So you can create some programs like that, and then we can do the different objectives. Then maybe create those ads as increasing store traffic, increasing offline sales, dynamic product ads as a hybrid tactic. So a lot of omnichannel tactics can be used to attract the visitors for the website, including your digital ads. So I think we have already covered a lot of questions and answers. So if you have more, please reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys driving strategy for 2021. Not getting any questions. So guys, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And we hope to see you guys early next year.
Thank you, everyone, for your time listening in.
Thank you,
Happy
everybody.
holidays.
Yeah.